Hello and welcome back to World of Warships. I'm your host, Forgotten Void, and this week we are going to go over Kushiro. Now, Kushiro, as I'm recording this, is currently in the armory. I'm not sure how long she stays in the armory, but she's currently in the armory, um, under the, uh, nope, wrong section, wrong section. Sorry, a decade at sea. So in a decade at sea, this is where she is. She's worth 10,000 tokens. You get these tokens by playing boats, daily logins, that sort of stuff. And so as you see, we have our Kushiro, we have obtained all 130 super containers. We've got our tier 10 bonus package. We got all the rare packages. All that's left is this is fine. If you want more of those, the Age of Zhenbong for the Pan Asian captain, Rapid for the Italian captain, Finest Hour for the Dutch captain, and Battle of Paso de Patria for the Pan American captain. These are all for the legendary captains. These two you can obtain for coal, and it's much shorter. You don't need as many of them. That's why they cost more. Whereas these two you need 60, which is why they are cheaper. But I don't think you can get them for coal. And if these two are, well, all these captains are actually really good. But I will say that this one's probably the best if you're going to go for any of those. For that, you just go through and say, hey, I want 10 of these and purchase this because you can. So, as for getting them, in the update navigator, you have festive rewards. After every so many battles or base XP, you can go in here and collect them off of any ships that you have. As you see, I didn't have any ships. I've collected all of mine. That's why I have all the rewards and able to do stuff. So, Kushiro herself. She is very similar to Zhao. She is not quite as Zhao. So, we're going to do tier 9, 10 Japanese cruisers. So, like you see, she has a similar smokestack, but you see, Zhao uses Akizuki guns. No, not Zhao. Sorry, not Zhao. Ibuki. Ibuki. There we go. So Ibuki, you see, you have two turrets, whereas Kushiro, you have three turrets. They're still the Kushiro are 100 mounts, and Ibuki's they are also 100 mounts. So you just get an extra set of secondaries on Kushiro. Otherwise, they are very similar. Both Kushiro and Zhao. Well, Kushiro sits lower in the water than Zhao, but they're both Japanese cruisers with 10, 203 8-inch guns. I guess Kushiro they're spaced out a little bit more than for, yeah, Zhao they're much closer together, so to give a shorter but taller hull, whereas Kushiro things are lengthened, the hull is shorter, uh, and this gives a smaller angle of target, which is important for PvP, but not so much for PvE. Bots are accurate no matter what. So similar, but they are different. I wonder what's the tier. Let's go to Shikuma. No, not Shikuma. Takahashi. So yeah, it looks very similar to Takahashi. So it looks like, well, actually, yeah, looks like they took a Takahashi hull and replaced the turrets with. I'm not sure what they did. They might have actually made a new ship for once. So, Kushiro, her gimmick is in the equipment. She has exhaust smoke generators, same things you find on all the Italian tech tree. So that's her gimmick there. You can have hydroacoustic search or defensive fire, and she has spotter plane base, or you could do fighter. Bots use whatever is base. So if Kushiro was an enemy, she would have Hydro and not defensive AA, whereas Zhao over here would have Def AA and not Hydro. Zhao would also have a fighter and not a spotter plane. So Kushiro, she uses the correct modules in default slot, whereas the Zhao uses the incorrect. And so that's why you see Zhao will have Def AA and fighter, but will never activate Hydro if you're facing a Zhao. Same with Zuma. Zuma will never activate Hydro because they have Def AA equipped. They will never launch a fighter because they can't have a fighter. Yoshino, well, the same way. Even though they can have a fighter, they'll only use the spotter plane, and they'll never have that. So that's a little bit about bot logic. Back to Kushiro. We just use the recommended. There's really no reason why not to choose the recommended, except for in randoms, you might want to have the extra range. So instead of 17.2, you can have a little bit more. But I like, and that allows you to have be able to shoot from. Well, that's I guess it's not really needed anymore. I guess they fixed it because when I was testing, it was a much shorter range. It was like 16 or 59 kilometer main gun range, and so um, you really needed the range. But now the main battery mod, it works with it, so that gets us down to a 9.7-second reload time. The signals we have for fires, for speed, for consumable reload, for our extra heal to do the smoke and have more HP. Yes, you can put the smoke generator for extra 20%, but I'd rather have accuracy. So that one's up to you if you want to have more smoke time or more accuracy. I wanted more accuracy. Now onto the commander that build I have. We have Grease the Gears to counteract the slowing of the turret verse from the main battery mod that gives the reload. We have consumable specialist so that we can use our smoke, more of our smoke. We have gun feeder because we swap between armor piercing and HE a lot. So these are skills that we use a lot. We have the extra 10% on smoke. We have priority target so we know when something's looking at us. Superintendent for that extra heal. Smoke is not really needed. It's mostly for the extra heal. We have Adrenaline Rush for that. Afterwards, the if you're going to play randoms, you want Concealment Expert. If you're not playing randoms, then Survivability Expert and Last Stand is what I would do. Or you could do Demolition Expert for that, and then say you want AA or Eye in the Sky or whatever, or you could even do Pack a Punch if you want. And then that gives your secondaries up to 9.2 kilometer range, so that your secondary, they're not going to be very accurate, but it gives you more range, and they have they're 100 millimeters, so they're going to pen everything they hit, most everything, because they pen 30 millimeters. So those are some options. But I will probably go with Survivability Expert at 20 points. With that, we'll go ahead and. So here we are. We have a full division. This is what happens a lot on my Discord server. Discord server link is in the description. And we are playing the Ultimate Frontier. Now, I know I just had a recent one with a submarine. This is the only battle I have for Kushiro. I've only played the one battle in Ops with her, but I did play her a bit during testing. She is free for people who have enough tokens to purchase her through the anniversary rewards. And Kushiro, I like the reload for her. Like in randoms, I do prefer to have the range. but with ops, you want to do the damage. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna aim at these destroyers. We want these destroyers dead. The reason why we want these now, as you notice, our destroyers aren't rushing in, and that is because if anybody's within 7 kilometers from these destroyers, they will run away. And so that's why our ships hold back. They wait until the destroyers are destroyed, and then they will go in. There we go, 2 shell hits. So even though our front guns went into the island, we still got some shell hits. There we go, another 2 shell hits. Even with all of our guns. We're gonna blind fire. Got 5 shell hits. I'm gonna move on to the Iowa here, because it should be dead. I say should. It's not dead yet. And here we are with, oh, we got double fire. Of course, it's before DCP is used. Okay, I was trying to get the North Carolina. We're gonna move up because we're really the only one in a good position to take care of the Seattle. Let's see if we can snatch the Iowa. No, all non-pens. 39mm deck for the win. Whoops. Hit the rock there. And we're able to get our front guns out. Okay, there's Seattle. Now I wanted to go left and use the guns at the right side, but unfortunately these guns turn too slow, so we have to turn right to just get our guns on target as fast as possible. There we go, 2 Citadels. And I don't think I get a Citadel after that, because I keep moving forward. I really should have stopped and gone backwards at this point. Because now Seattle is angled away from us, so we're not going to get so much damage, and we're definitely not going to get Citadels. Okay, let's see if we get the Seattle now. No, YSA was able to do it. With the hull that has 200mm guns on a destroyer. In real life, hull got one gun as testing, and not all 3 were. So it is something based off of real life. It's not completely paper. But in this case, she gets all 3. And so she has some weird DPM for a weird service for a destroyer. So Kushiro, she gets 8 kilometer torps, really, but she can use them at any angle. Just like the light cruiser line for the Japanese. You wide angle because they turn after launch. Up there's the Mahan. There we go. We have a Cleveland. Trying to aim at the Cleveland, see where I could actually hit it. All overpens. Not all, but too many overpens. Guess I'm aiming a little bit too high because it seems to be going too much into the superstructure. There we go, 4 full pens. So I'm using this rock there to make sure that only one would be able to look at me, just in case they decide to start looking at me. Air Bear is doing the same. Oh, there goes that Cleveland. Let's see, did we get the Helena? There we go, we got the Helena. Next Cleveland. So as you notice, they spawn. They spawn based on the number of ships currently on the map, the enemy ships. And that is all described in the wiki, that there is some math to it. But basically, if anybody goes and spots the carrier and the escort spawn in, then these ships will not spawn in until at least one more enemy ship is taken out. And if only one enemy ship is on the board, then they'll spawn all 4 at once. But if there are 2 on the board, then then you get 2 or 3 of them. Usually 2. If 3 enemies are on the board, like for us, that's where we only got 2, and then we had to kill 2 enemies for the other 2 to spawn in, because they like a maximum number of enemies. Now we're just going to heal up a little bit, make things healing faster. The guns turning 360 is really nice. It helps accommodate for the slow turret traverse. This is a nice game feature. Not a realistic feature, but a game feature. Very, very few ships had 360-degree turning turrets. They were the most famous ones are the Nuremberg class, because I think they could turn like 560 or maybe up to 720. But because of there were ships like that, they started putting that as a feature for ships in the game as a balance feature. And the reason why you could only have things turn so much is because of wiring and such, and wiring from the hull has to go into the turret. And so the number of degrees a turret could turn is usually based off of that more than anything. Oh, fun. They're to the south. The spawning position, the first spawn is random. The second spawn will be in one of the 2 spots that have not had enemies wave spawn, and then the last spawn will be in the last remaining spot. So like here, I know the second wave will be either east or west, and then the third wave will be the east or west that was not the second wave. So we're gonna pop our smoke screen so that we're not spotted for a little bit until One of them gets within radar range. There we go. First buffalo is in radar range. Now radar range for Cleveland and the other buffalo, so it doesn't really matter who we take out. And so even though our torpedoes were 8-kilometer range, we were able to shoot them, well, launch them early, because the enemy was coming to us. So yes, we could have used our repair, but I actually rather them shoot armor piercing at us, because that's less damage we can take. And now we're going to put out the fire, because we're putting out the fire because I'm not the target anymore. Someone else is being shot at. So I know it was safe to put out the fire. Okay, now we have Raptor. And the second wave is over here. Yay! And Whiskey spawns in. And Whiskey spawns over here too. So Whiskey is a 50-50 spawn, a 50-50 chance of spawning on either side. There is no rhyme or reason. We're gonna throw Torps at the gearing and Torps at the Fletcher, just in case. And then we're gonna put our guns on this gearing. That gearing's down, and now we're gonna go for the Fletcher. The Fletcher's down. Now I want to use our guns against the last gearing. And we're able to take it out with Torps. These Torps do a lot of damage. It's 21k. So against destroyers, they're usually going to kill them, even without taking the skill. Or secondaries and torpedo damage. Really? Again? We're just going to repair the fire and the gun. We're using high explosives because this far away, one, we're just going to penetrate all over with high explosive, and two, at this far away, I'm not sure how the ballistics of the armor piercing would work, if it would work in our favor or not. So, pressing 1 for the easy button. Cleveland slowing down and turning. And now we have destroyers looking at us. We're going to focus on destroyers looking at us first. We're all doing this from a far away place so that we're not the main target. And also we're trying to get into position for the third wave. Or be ready to get into position for the third wave. So when I change target like that, it's just basically I was making sure that I was getting all of our guns on something. Yeah, I would have wanted the destroyer killed, but I'd rather do damage. I'm hoping to get Citadels with the Seattle. We are getting a few full pens. No Citadels, but we get it down. Okay, main. Have some high explosive. Oh, there goes Kato. Bye, Kato. So we're going back to the last wave. The second to last wave can either have a Montana or a main in it, just like in the other one, it can be an Iowa or an I believe Alabama. The last wave is either Iowa or Missouri, whereas no, it's North Carolina or Colorado in the tier 8 or below, and then it's Iowa or Missouri for the last wave. But here we only have Maine for the last wave. But at least the Jacksonville could either be a Jacksonville or an Annapolis. And I saw some torps, and I'm like, yeah, let's check if there's any other torps in the water. And yeah, we're gonna use our guns. We're gonna dodge those torps. Oh no, Maine has disappeared. And Rhode Island with radar saves the day. Now we're just getting a lot of non-pens. Maybe we should have been using armor piercing. There we go. There's 8 pens because we all hit and everything hit the superstructure. And that's victory. There you go, Kushiro. 340k damage in a game where we're all competing for damage. Very much competing for damage. That actually brings us top of the team, even though, yeah. You see, most of the team actually does pretty well. And then people who are not used to competing for damage might not do so well. But yeah, when we're in divs, it's yes, we're gonna win, but it's a challenge on who's going to do the most damage. And Kushiro actually has really good DPM thanks to her fast firing 203s. She's not really a torp boat, can't really use the torps. So as you see, we only had 3 torpedo hits for 35k, whereas Yodo or any of the other torpedo focus, anything with 12-kilometer range torpedoes, would probably have more like 8 or 9 torpedo hits, but maybe not so much for the guns. Then again, Yodo is crazy with her guns. And XP, credits and XP pretty on the lower side. We are not using any boosters. So this is just with the combat boosters. So if you remember last week where we had a green booster and we got about this much, with Laffy. This week we'd have 0 boosters, and we already make this much, but we did a lot more and did a lot better in this game than with Laffy because this ship is actually a good ship compared to Laffy. That said, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. If you want to see more videos as they come out, click that subscribe button. Otherwise, I hope to see you again next week. Have a good one.